everyone, it's Dash of Dave here again, and I'm back for another crafty video. This time we're going to make some of these. Well, actually some of these. So let me tell you. So these are some of the slide dies that Brian kindly lent me. Now I've already got this one, but I hadn't got this one that cuts this out. So that's the backstory for this. The reason why I'm going to make some of these is I currently store my dies. Well, I have been storing my dies like this, just in a thing. So it's really hard to tell what's in here. Some of them are just loose at the bottom. It's terrible. Okay, terrible way to store some dies. And but it worked fine for a while before I had quite a few. And now we're at the point where I need to find some way to store them. So when he loaned me this die, I was like, oh, yes, that's a really good idea. Now, I know he made this as a result of either Tracie Fox or Shabby Dabby Doodah making something like this. I will link the right person when I know who it is. So what I thought was, let me make some of these. Now, the thing is, he has them in a tray where they stand upright and he can flip through them because he's got desk space. I don't have desk space. I literally struggle. I've got 2 desks and I still don't have desk space. I wanted to find a different way to do it. So what I did was I just adapted it, and I adapted it I used file folders that I've got. And what I did was I came up with this, which is basically the same, except for I have an extra reinforced bit down the side here, and that's simply to be able to put it into a file folder. So I now I've started to store mine into a file folder where they're all in here. Now, the other thing that I changed was his is a loose open bit at the back, and mine has a Velcro bit at the back. And the reason for that is just because if I take this off the shelf the wrong way up, they're not all going to fall out. That was a good test, wasn't it? So they're not all going to fall out. So I just thought, while I'm making these, I will bring you along while to do it. So what I did was I took a file folder. So like, these are the ones that come from work. This is what happens. People put far too much in them. They bend and then they rip, and then we can't use them. So I'm literally going to just take the metal bit off the top. And don't worry, Catherine, I know that I still need to send you some. I just haven't got round to it at the moment, but I definitely will still send you some, because you asked, and I've kept some for you. So what I did was I made my own measurements. So I mean, like, it worked out to be pretty much the same as his, slightly wider. Mine are same sort of size though. So and what I did, it depends on what your file folder is. What I did was I took one of the cards that was originally in it. So that was a knitting file folder. In fact, I'll show you what was originally in there. All of these were in there. So this is like I think it was one of those periodical things that you collected and week by week. So this used to sit in here. I took one of these, looked at how wide this was, and I wanted to go no higher than this, so no taller than this, I mean. So that's what was the inspiration for the size. And I just got my file folder, and this is what I did. So I will show you now. Ooh. Yours will be a different size though. So I went with 5 3/4 inches wide, which is there. So I might cut 2 as we're here. Let's use that nice bit. I don't know why I'm worried about using the nice bit. You're not really going to see it, but never mind. And then I'll keep that bit because, you know me, I'll keep anything, me. So I've done those, yeah. And then what I did was I used the crease to determine, so the fold here, to determine where I then measured the next bit. So the front bit was 6 3/4 high, and then I had the remainder bit was the flap that went over the top. So if I just cut that at 6 3/4, you can see I put a mark here because I've made so many of them. It just made it easier for me. So I cut that 6 3/4. Yeah. And then what I did was, this will then be the flap. All I did was I just straightened it off. And because it's a storage thing, I'm not worried about them all being perfectly the same size or anything like that. I'm just making it so that they've all got a flap. Okay, so again, I'll show you that again. So it was literally, open it up, so you've got the crease, decide the height that you want. So I went with 6 3/4, which is there. So I cut the first bit off. Actually, let's cut that bit off, because then it's cutting that sticker off. Cut the first bit off. So that's the front, yeah, and then that's going to be our flap. But all I did was I just straightened that up, because we only roughly cut it. So I just put it on there and straightened it up. Use that straight edge that I've cut. Hopefully it's straight anyway. Just to straighten that up. Okay, so. And of course I'll keep those bits. I won't keep those bits. I'm not that bad. So I'm going to put that to one side for now. So then the next thing we did was we did some scoring. So we got my scoreboard, which, you know, now it seems to want to elude me. So bear with. Oh, it's there. And all I did was I scored it. So I decided where it was gonna be, okay, and I scored it. Now I know that you would normally do a valley and a mountain fold, but just to make it easier for yourself, I just scored it so it was away from this. See where this fold is? This folded bit over. You don't want to be butting right up to there, otherwise that'll just pucker all of this and it'll make it hard to close. So I went a little bit higher up than there, and I just scored it. Do that again. A little bit higher up than where so I could do that one, but that would be too close to this, so I'm going to do that one so it's a bit further away. Okay, so let's put that over to one side. So then all I did was I just folded this over and bone folder, and I just folded that in nicely. You can do the same for the bottom bit, it doesn't really matter. And the same there, bottom as well. There we go. So that's basically our shapes. So then what I did was I also rounded my corners. So I cheated, put them both together at the same time. Same thing, Dave. You don't need to say both of those things. You put them both together, or put them together at the same time. One of the two of them. And then I just clipped off those edges just to round off those corners, just because they'll get dog-eared over time. No offence, Worcester. Your ears are perfect over time, but they are ears. These aren't. Okay, so then I just chopped those off. Just going to have a drink. And then what I did is I didn't bother gluing them. For some of them, you might need to glue them. If they're really thin, you might need to glue them just to kind of reinforce that stitching. But then all I did was I literally sewed them. Okay, so I'm just going to sew them. Oh, sorry, before I sew them. Sorry, let's just go back to this. I also then decided where I wanted my holes. So once I'd established where I needed my holes, and that was literally, I took one of these pieces of card, kind of sat it over, decided where I wanted the holes. So this was roughly in the middle. And then what I did was, once I'd got one right, I then used that as a template for the next one. So all the holes sit in the same place every time, and then it's more likely to line up that way. So then I'll just sit that over the top of there. You're going to cut those bits out and do the same on this one. And you do, no, I've done that wrong, Dave. Start again. Sorry, I'm telling you lies. What I did was I had it this way round, so you had the flap down because you want the holes on the left hand side. Okay, so you're going to do the holes this way. Apologies for that. I'm not trying to confuse you. Or I'm not trying to confuse myself, but I seem to be doing a good job of that. So, like I say, flip it over so you've got it flap down. and then make those holes. Okay, so I'm just going to move that out of the way for the time being, and then all I did was I took my hole punch. Now, I wasn't sure, I do have a proper hole punch. I wasn't sure that because that file folder is such an old file folder, whether it was they were in the standard places, so I just did it this way. So I punched it, and this one might punch through that flap, I don't know, we'll find out. Yeah, it did, and that's fine. All that's going to do is it's going to keep that flap nice and secure down when it's in the file folder, and that way then they're not going to, it gives it a bit more security over it not falling, them all not falling out. Just clipping that through and clipping that through. There we go. So that's those two. So then it comes to the sewing side of things. So I will show you. So I will show you. So I will sew and sew. So let me get my device. It's not a device, Dave. My sewing machine out, and I will show you what I did from here. Okay, so I will have to do a bit of editing, I think. So I am hoping that you can see now what I'm doing. Okay, so this is the sewing machine, and these are the file folders that I've caught. I haven't caught them, they're not fish, that I've cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around this edge, and this line here is literally there just to help me keep the sewing machine straight. That's all it's doing, because otherwise I'd have a really wobbly line and it would all go horribly wrong. Okay, so to make it easier for myself, we like to make things easier for ourselves. You need to start with so you need to have the flap facing towards you and it facing up, because if you turn this round, this means that the majority of the material is going to stay on the outer side of the sewing machine. If you sewed this way, it would start off easy, but then when you got to turning around, you're then trying to curl the whole of this up underneath the sewing machine, at the arm of the sewing machine. So we're going to start this side. And you know what I'm going to do, don't you? You know I'm going to go forwards and backwards to start off, because like that's what I was always told to do. And I know it's a piece of cardboard, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just keeping the edge of this up against this piece of tape. And the only reason why that tape is there is to keep this on the straight and narrow. And how did I get it in that place? Literally trial and error. So now I'm going to give it a sew, and I'll talk about what I'm going to do after I've finished this. I'm just going to go all the way around the perimeter first, and I'll come back to you in a minute. Oh, we have to turn it on first, Dave. It works better if you turn it on. And once we get towards the end, we're going to go right to the very end, and then we're going to go backwards again and forwards, just to lock it off. Okay, so now take that bit out, and I'm just going to put it off. Get rid of my cotton. And now what I'm going to do is where the hole punches are, I'm just going to reinforce down here. And again, all I did was I popped it in the machine, and I had it so that I'd got about 2 millimeters away from this blue line here. I don't know whether you can see that, but I can see that blue tape sticking out 2 millimeters beyond where this is, and that's really what I did. Because I'm just doing a straight line, I wasn't worried about it being, you know, if it wobbles a little bit. So again, forwards and back, just lock it in. Like I say, I'm not a sewist, so it might not be perfect, but it's perfect for me. So that's that one, and I will come back to that in a second. Okay, but then we'll do this one now. So again, we're going to do it the same way. We're going to have it so the flap is towards us, and it's facing downwards with the hole punched edges to the right. I'm going to make sure my needle's in the upright position. Make sure your tray table's in the upright position, Dave. And your landing gear is down, because we're going to no, we're not landing, Dave. Shut up, Dave. So I'm just going to do the same again. Off there. Okay, and then again we're going to put it back in with the holes to the right hand side, and we're just going to reinforce it. And that's just to reinforce it, and also to stop the dye from getting tangled up in this mechanism when you're trying to put it back in your ring binder. Like I say, you can have this as wide as you like, the pockets, and as tall as you like. It's just depending on what file folder you've got. So I'll be back. I'll see you in the overhead in a minute. Okay, folks, so I'm back from the side shot, and I'm just going to put my sewing machine back under my desk for a minute. Just turn it off. Turn it off in case I put my foot on that pedal and frighten the life out of me. So that's now where we are. So I'm just going to cut off all my straddly bits. You don't have to. It's just a personal preference, and you know, Brian doesn't, but I do. The reason why is because it just gets tangled up on everything. Otherwise, I've got enough stuff going on in my life that's tangled, like my like dog hair around the brush of the vacuum cleaner. Although actually, since I got a shark, it's been a lot better. So a shark vacuum cleaner, by the way. I don't live with a shark. It's not Jaws. So let's pop. So this is now what we've got. So we've got this with our sewn edge here, and now all we need to do is we need to put our dies in. So what I've got is I've already done the cutting of the dies. So there's these. I will probably fill the thing up with more, but I'm going to put these into this one. Oh, sorry, no. The first thing we need to do is we need to do our sticky things. So why have we still got bits of that? So all I did was I kind of tried to get it in the middle of where the 6 inch line is, and then I'm just going to put a sticky dot there, a Velcro dot, sorry. So I have it so that the front and the back are stuck together, and I have the clear bit on this side. So rather than putting it on this side and trying to line it up from there, I just open the flap up, have it the right way up, Dave. So you're going to put the white bit down on this bit, and you're going to put it where the 3 inch mark is, and then you're going to flip that over, and you keep it closed for a minute and give it a rub, press it down a bit, and then when you open it up, that'll be in the middle. There you go. So do that again. So over to here, get one ready, and put both of the sides together. So they don't come like this, they come separated as two separate, a pile of backs and a pile of fronts, and all I do is align the two sheets up together so that they're ready to go that way. Okay, so this way. So again, in between, because it's 5 3/4, it just makes it easier to work out the middle. So you kind of have it in between these two lines with the equidistant from the sides, and then we're just going to put the white bit down on the 3 inch mark, flip it over, press it down, and there you go. And then that's in the middle. So that's those. Let's put the die in. The dies in, actually, not the die in. Okay, flip it over, and now all I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these to the front with a bit of glue, because that's really the best way to stick things down, is with a bit of glue. So these are actually, I'm going to fold it over, because I'm going to fold it over to how it will look when you use the die, the same way as I did with this one. This is a fold over, and the same with the way that the slides have been put together. A little bit of that together. Oh, everything's falling over now. And then once it's glued together, I'm going to glue it down. Just take the excess off. So I'm going to put them. I'm not going to make them straight, otherwise if they're straight then I have to get them all uniformly perfect. So I'm just going to have them winky wonky, and then winky wonky means that nobody can tell whether it's supposed to be like that or not. And then just glue that on. You know, if you want to have them straight, I mean, there are lines on this one. I could have done it against the line, but I didn't. I'm doing it this way because I did it my way. No, you're not here for the singing, Dave. Nobody's ever going to come to watch you sing, Dave. People pay me to shut up. Oh, a bit close. A bit close for comfort, that. There's some more here. So like I say, there'll be room in here for many more different dyes. But for now, I'm just going to put these together, and I'll put them with something that I think is appropriate. Again, just folding these over. Try and line it up, Dave. It'd be a good idea if you did. Bit of glue. Squeeze it down. Well, that wasn't stuck down very well, Dave. Never mind. I still know what. Nobody's going to see this. Well, you, except for like all the people that watch this. But, you know, nobody else is going to see it. They're not going to be judging this. This is just an example of the dyes, of what will cut out and what's inside the thing. So, there we go. So that's those. That's going to be those together. And then on this one, I did cut these out. So this is, sorry, I've cut this out, and that's to go in this one, which I've just got to sit and poke all those things out, which I couldn't be bothered to do. And the same with this one. I'll poke those out at a later date, but this is what's going to go in here, and they're just going to go in there. I'm just going to close it up. Then they will get stuck to the front when I've poked all the bits out. I'll stick to that, and then this one now is ready to go in the file folder along with its friend that I took out as an example. Just to open it up. There we go. That's another one done, and that's it. So obviously I'll cover this at some point, but I kind of want to finish sticking the bits in first before I decide what I'm going to put on the outside. I might have a collection of all the different dyes on the outside. Who knows? And that's it. So there we go. It's another crafty video from me. So, oh, I forgot that I've got glue on the back of my hand now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was useful, and I hope you might give it a go if you've got an issue with storing dyes like I have. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Really appreciate it, your interactivity. I will just say, do you know what? 30% of you give it a thumbs up. 30% of the people that actually watch the video give it a thumbs up. I need more than that. Come on. Let's get 100%. Anyway, shut up, Dave. I'm moving on. All right, folks. Remember, I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, folks. Love to you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Big hugs. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.